Go ahead, Moses. The floor is yours.
Well, I mean, the first thing you said was I'm reading the title of your live, and it says, "Is red pill content over?" Red pill content can't be over now. What the people that you're talking about, these individuals that have podcasts and all this, what they've done is they've exposed female nature. It's like an open gash or a wound now. So we all see exactly what's taking place and how women actually act and how they actually think by giving them the voice inside of a masculine heterosexual male's presence. It's one thing to talk that shit in the echo chamber. It's yet another thing to be able to do that like they had to in Kevin Samuels live. If you wanted to come up, it was a one-on-one. You couldn't go and retreat into your echo chamber full of confirmation and validation. You had to stay up there and stand on it. So what's happening right now is men have already been, if not, they're continuing to be woken up by true female nature and those men that have masculine heterosexual voices. That's not going to be canceled. And if it does get canceled on the verbal or virtual side, you're just going to have a violent society. Because what men are not going to do, those types of men, what they're not going to do overall is allow the slanderous nature of other individuals, such as the Cynthia G's and the Kiki Palmers, just a host of bashing on traditional masculinity. They're not going to have that for too long. So the society is going to potentially start to mirror those images of the very society they claim they live in now, right? It's gonna start to mimic that. You say you live in a where men are violent. All right, you take away what's the first sacrifice in any war? The first sacrifice in almost any war is that sacrifice of freedom of speech. You take away people's ability to talk and ability to reason, then you put them in a position where they have no other way of defending themselves and their ideologies aside, physically fight for it. That's what happens. This is why we put the Second Amendment right after the First Amendment. So that's what's going to happen. And I'm not saying it's going to start out at war. That's not how it starts out. It's not going to start out there. What you're going to start to see is you're going to see just complete and utter echo chambers of nothing but female validation and male bashing because there's no masculine voice there to actually combat it. Once that happens, either you're gonna have a number of things happen. The first thing you're gonna have happen is you're gonna have echo chambers. Nobody's gonna be able to actually stick around there because who really likes to exist in dysfunction for that long? That's going to be a continual thing that you're going to see. So even those voices, even though they're getting paid, the real people, like actual people, are going to listen to them less and less. As many people that say they hate me on TikTok or they're upset at me or whatever the case may be, even the comment section right now, at the end of the day, when I go out into the actual world, I get
Love.
Wait, hold on. I get greeted, and I get adoration and affection, genuine affection from other masculine heterosexual males. That's what I get. Like when I go out, that's what I get. I get people to shake my hand, bro. I appreciate your content, man. Please don't stop. We need your voice. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what masculine men are hearing. They're going to choose a side. So, and if you're asking me whether red pill content is going to stop, possibly on a virtual level, but when it comes to stopping, in terms of how men actually function in their day-to-day lives from this point on, it's going to get worse.
Hey Moses, I want to say something really quick. I look red pill manosphere content is not going to stop. Do I? It's not even a think thing for me. Do I know that there are certain platforms that are just not going to allow certain rhetoric to be spewed on their platforms and certain type of content? Yes. And with this move, YouTube is showing that, they're not necessarily going to be having, certain content on their platform. And like I said, Moses, I don't agree with it. I believe everyone should be able to have free speech, and as long as they're being respectful, say how they feel about whatever. But you have platforms like Rumble. You have platforms like Twitch. You have platforms like Kick. So, there's other platforms for these creators to still exist on, and their followers are going to follow them to those platforms.
Yeah, but logistically speaking, those apps are don't function the same way, and also they're not as popular.
Right.
Anybody, if you want to get your message out, you're going to go to the most popular place to do so. It's very hard to build an individual platform. This is why most of us get our starts on social media platforms first and then branch off into having our own platforms separately. That's
Right.
why most people do it in that fashion. So, if you're going to try to make all of these apps simply misandrous, because by saying, if you're going to say, you said you don't like Fresh and Fit podcast, and I don't
No,
either.
no, I didn't say I dislike them. I said I never consumed their content. I've only saw clips.
So okay, so if you've only seen clips, and I don't think it's necessarily easy to make a judgment about it. For example, you said that he got emotional from leaving, and you said you don't understand why.
No, I didn't say I don't understand why. I just said I've never seen him get emotional.
All right, does it make sense for him to be emotional about being demonetized?
Absolutely, Moses. I said I would be emotional too. I am a YouTube partner. I would be
Right,
emotional too.
and got demonetized for something that's trivial. How is it that you hate women or you have misogynistic content when your entire panel is nothing but women almost every time you have a panel? Literally every time. It's not as though he's having a one-sided echo chamber where he's only spitting shit about them. They come up there, they say some of the most derogatory things, but those never get flagged. It's okay when they do it. It's a problem when we do it.
Right,
Right?
Moses? That's what I said. That's why Moses. I'm with you. I don't understand it. Like I said, they have some platforms where these guys are saying derogatory things about women, and there's not one woman with a microphone around. These guys have several
Okay.
women on every
Okay.
show,
Wait, hold
giving
up.
them the
Name them though.
opportunity to provide pushback. So what's the
But wait, hold
problem?
up. You said that we have several platforms where men are saying misogynistic things and women don't have an oppositional voice. Can you name one?
No, listen. I said on their specific platform, there is not a woman in sight. There's not a woman there combating what they're saying.
Who? On whose site?
A lot of different Moses. You see these podcasts where it's all men and they're talking about
Nah.
women. The same
Nah,
way
I
there's
haven't. That's what I'm
podcasts with
saying. That's what I'm saying. Nah, I haven't. Can you name one?
okay, really Moses.
The
Moses,
fact
okay,
that
Moses. Let
the
me ask
fact
you
that
this. Let
you
me
the
ask you
fact
this.
that you and I look, hold up. See,
Moses,
this is what I'm saying.
Moses,
The
Moses,
fact
Moses.
that
But look, no, I answer your question. Moses, I don't consume these people's content. I don't know their names, but Moses, have you seen Moses? Let me ask you a question. Have you seen women, whether you want to call them podcasts, have you seen clips of all women saying derogatory things about men?
yes,
Okay, but Moses, you haven't seen the same thing with men saying the same things about women?
no.
Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I
Right,
believe you.
right, right. But here's the difference. But no, it's not just the benefit of the doubt. Like I believe in the Bible. Say, prove all things, bro. I can name them. Can you name the male podcasts that do that?
No, I can't name none of these
That's my
podcasts.
problem. But I can name the female ones. Cynthia G. What's Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray's podcast, whatever you call that
Yeah, I
one.
know, what you're talking about.
Yeah. There's plenty of one. I can name them on our end. Why is it that if you make an assertion like that, brother, at the very least, we expect you to come with some evidence of that. And what I'm saying is nah, I didn't see it. So where is it?
Moses, I just
We're not
told you,
doing that.
I just told you I don't consume these people's content. I don't listen to podcasts.
Right.
I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
know
but
the
I'm saying I
names.
hear you.
But
I'm
Moses,
hearing you. I hear what you're saying, but what I'm saying is if you don't consume their podcast, then I'm making a blanket statement about what you feel are prevalent and let's say that there are podcasts like that. I know one thing, they're not allowed the same type of bandwidth and they don't catch the same type of traction as those male hating podcasts do. So I'm just saying
absolutely.
but I can't name one is my point. I can't name one podcast or or platform that's strictly female hating that's caught any traction that anybody knows of. I can't name one that doesn't have an oppositional female voice. I can't name one.
But Moses, I didn't ask you to
Don't worry
name one,
about it.
brother. I just said you haven't seen Moses. You haven't seen not one clip of just all men on microphones talking about women, Moses.
Talking about women's behavior and their actions and talking and bashing them is two separate things. So if you're asking me if I've seen a platform or a page or a live of all male casts speaking on female behavior today, then yes. But what I don't see is any all male cast or any all male page bashing women
Okay.
relentlessly. No, I haven't
Okay.
seen that.
No, look. I'll give you the
Don't worry
benefit of
about it.
that with Moses. Let me just ask you this, and then I want you to speak on. Just give your honest thoughts on the manosphere and red pill space. Moses, if I was on here, because it's so funny that I'm about to ask you this, Moses. I literally came across a live of a woman the other day, and you were on the background, and they were talking negatively about you. They were calling you the P word. They were saying that you like little girls. They were saying something about, you said something about some 14-year-old little girl. And I'm like, Moses is not even here. Y'all are talking about this man, and he's not even here to provide any pushback to what y'all are saying. Don't you think that's kind of unfair, Moses?
Right. I mean, I agree. Now, my question is do you see that happening on the other end?
Do I see men doing the same thing to women like that?
Yeah.
No, not on this platform.
Exactly. That's my point. So my point is that at the end of the day, you're going to see a lot more of that. You're going to see defamatory statements, slanderous comments, and everything being made. So in real life is where men are going to make the adjustment. Men are not vessels of words, we're vessels of action. So that talking is only going to go so far as a social media app, and women, and there's only a certain amount of people that they can launch to the top and make millionaires. All right, fine. You speak for the rest of the female population. But that female population, what you're also seeing a rash of are females making videos about how they want to be in their soft woman era or the soft girl area. About how now they're too tired and don't want to do that whole Miss Independent, I'm a strong boss bitch mentality type of female type shit. You're starting to hear a rash of that. There's a reason for that. It's because even though these women are blowing up by making these types of pages and these types of lives and everything, at the end of the day, these women that are following them are miserable once they turn that live off. That's what's happening. So what I'm saying is, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead, bro. I just brought somebody up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Somebody.
So what I'm saying is that the content that you're talking about, it's done its job. Red Pill content has done its job. Rolo Tomasi, Tom Likas, Fresh and Fit, Kevin Sam. Now I think Fresh and Fit is a little bit more black pill in there. You know, he doesn't have. What I don't like about their podcast is they don't have a vein of forgiveness. I actually want to come back to being with females in a love each other and love one another fashion. They don't have a good faith vein inside of their content. I can agree with that, but their content is more than that, focused on waking up men to female nature, and that's what we're seeing. That type of content, that red pill type of content, is not going to go away even if we're taking off the apps, you know, exponentially. It's not going to stop now because men have already been awoken to the types of natures that they're dealing with these females out here. So that's not going to stop anymore.
So Moses, what's your just like honest overall perspective just on the manosphere and just red pill content in general? Just talk about that. Talk about, do you think it's done more positive or more negative / harm to men? Do you think it's do you think it's had any effect on just like how men see women just directly without even trying to get to know them first? Speak on all that.
Absolutely. I think the first thing it's done is I think that it's opened men's eyes to the red flags that men should take into consideration early and with a lot more assertiveness. In other words, it's taught men that they can defend themselves, even verbally. It's taught us what we would probably encounter when we do so. It's taught us how to identify these types of females, and it's taught us what females to stay away from and what females to engage. So yeah, it has done wonders for men. And this is why men's happiness is continually on the increase as we age, whereas female happiness is on the decline as they age. There's a reason for that. It's because men are no longer at younger and younger ages every day putting up with the psychosis that is the female mindset when it comes to entering to table in good faith as it adheres to relationships and dating. I think it's done wonders for them. You know how many men that have called in to these men, hell, me included, that have said, man, I watch your stuff and it's really, you talked me down off a ledge. I've watched your stuff and it's made me want to become a better man and understand how to defend myself. Just me defending myself even on this app is showing men that, one, not only do you not have to take it, but two, how to do it effectively. You know what I'm saying? You don't let nobody just call you something derogatory and then let it escape just because she's a female. We got to stop letting females have this one-way aggression female to male. Right? It's shown men that. It's shown men exactly what to do and the worst thing that you could do to a female in abandonment. As opposed to sitting there tolerating disrespect. All right, I'm going to leave you alone to fuck out my house. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yeah, it's done wonders for males. And it's going to do something to the females that actually want relationships. It's made it a lot easier for us to identify those women that actually want to be in relationships with men and those women that don't, right? If I show up to the table nowadays and the first thing you get to ask me is what my 5-year plan is and all this other shit, I know that you're not here in good faith. You're not here to love me. You're not here to submit. You're not here to be respectful. You're here to question me about what I can do for you. Automatically, I know. Dating itself. it's shown men, all right, we not going to, there's been a drastic decline in men paying for dates and going on dates. Why? Because we're understanding what female nature is. You're here to get something and not give anything in return. And men are understanding that. So all of those things are going to stop. Men are starting to rethink their default protection being given to women that are strangers. These are all great things for men. It keeps their lives safe. It keeps them, it takes into consideration their safety and their lives, and it starts to put at the forefront men becoming successful and garnering those things in their life that make women attracted to them. Because women can tell us all the time about how they want an emotionally stable man and all this other bullshit, but at the end of the day, if he don't have no money, or if he don't have the ability to do those primary things, which is provide and protect, let's stop acting like you attracted to him. Everybody that panders to women that don't have that shit, women are not giving play to. They might agree and say preach and all that other shit, but you ain't fucking them at the end of the day. And that's just true. That's just true. Every woman don't like Andrew Tate until they get into the same room with Andrew Tate.
So I got two.
Then they remember that he's an excellent fighter and that he has the money to be able to put distance between himself and his enemies, as well as give her the provision that she needs and wants.
So I got two last questions for you, Moses. So like I said, there's no one on God's green earth that I agree with 100% of the things they say. I don't agree with 100% of the things my own father says. You know, Moses, I don't have no problem with you, and you know that. You and I have had plenty of conversations, great conversations. You know, you've said things that I've agreed with, you said things that I've disagreed with, and vice versa. So I don't have no problem with you. But Moses, I've followed 3 of your pages, and all of the 3 pages that I followed have got permanently banned. I want you in front of the people that are in the room right now, and I've never asked you this. What would you categorize the content that you make as, and why do you think that you've had so many accounts permanently banned on this clock app?
Same thing. Same genre. I put my music in. Controversially conscious. That's literally how I would describe the content. But what keeps my pages getting banned is the same thing that demonetized Fresh and Fits. The same thing that stops Andrew Tate from doing his thing. It's a misandrist type of system. If you haven't noticed, you can't have a balanced discussion if you want a social upheaval. If you want men and women to be at odds, you can't allow men to speak and think that women are coming to the table in good faith. So you have to have one voice louder than the other. Even with MSNBC and Fox, the more liberal, left-leaning, which we would call female side of the brain politically, is the one that gets more traction. For that reason, if we were conservative, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not political, but I'm saying that to say that there's a reason my shit gets banned. And it's because you have to have a misandrous environment in order for a female to remain in delusion. You have to. You have to. So, you know, I mean, me getting banned is a function of all me getting banned does is show other men what it takes and what type of man you have to be in order to not be accepted by society. What do men do when they're not accepted by society? Even if it's just virtually or conversationally. What do? They create their own. Which means that those borders are going to get more and more hostile as they incur more goods and resources and more men into that particular ideology. You're going to start to set borders and then you're going to start to push people away that don't agree. That's what's going to happen.
Really quick, I'm sorry. Look, let me say this in the comments. You can disagree with anything that anyone says up here, but don't make attacks on people's sexuality. Don't do any of that. You will be blocked and gone. So do not do that. Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah. So I mean, in all honesty, you know what I'm saying. But see, that's what's allowed. You know, I just called her a bitch. You know, you say I'm thinking of. That's what she wrote. She wrote he's thinking of his man. So I wrote hush bitch.
That's what I'm talking about.
Men need to see more of that. Men need to see that it's okay to actually, and what we need to do is it's also drawing another distinction, a very clear one. It's drawing a distinction between masculine, heterosexual, assertive men and simp pandering men. It's one of the biggest distinctions that we're seeing, right? Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen is some man's going to come to a woman's defense when a man starts defending himself from a woman's verbal assaults. When that happens, you're going to send a dude, right? I encourage men, when that dude is sent, either take his life or defend yourself up to the point of deadly force. Why? Because that woman needs to understand, and other men that come to women's defense need to understand that you're putting that man's life and safety in danger when you do that because you couldn't control your mouth. Right? So we're starting to see a lot of that. We're starting to see the breaking of men are stronger, so they shouldn't hit back. Good. Yes, hit back. Somebody hit you, I don't care if it's a male or female. Hit back. Yeah, deadly force. And the reason we're saying deadly force is because this man shows up and we don't understand what he's about to do. You out here coming in defense of a woman that, based upon principle, has not put you in a position that of which, if you were to put your safety and life on the line, you'd be doing it for a righteous cause. She called me something, the man defended himself and called her something. Now she felt offended. I'm gonna call this man and tell him to come defend me. All right, when he get here, max him out. Yeah, we're starting to see men actually stand up and defend themselves. This is what we don't like. This is what women don't like about it. This is what that community of men don't like about it. This is what docile men don't like about it. They don't like to see masculine, heterosexual, assertive men actually assert themselves. So when they assert themselves, they feel that it's a threat because now I can't get those things that I could have gotten out of a man like Russell Wilson. I just heard a woman in another live say, Russell Wilson is a good man. He's a decent man. I asked in the comment section, what makes him decent? Got blocked. Then I came back on another page, asked him, what makes Russell Wilson decent? Got blocked again. They don't want to have those conversations because we all know if we look at Russell Wilson, he's not a decent man. You provide. Great. Kudos to you for that. But what you don't do is protect efficiently. And when I say that, I mean you're keeping your house open for those men that want to do something with your wife by allowing her to portray herself and behave the way she does on social media and in her music. You know what I'm saying? It's the age-old trope.
Yeah, Moses, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Moderators, gang, I see you in the comments. Supervillain, you as well. Again, any attacks on anyone's sexuality, any attacks on anyone as a person and not their argument, please do what you need to do. Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah. So at the end you're gonna start losing it for that too, though, bro. Because in that regard, you're protecting. In this case, you're protecting me, right? That's what you're seeing. Because really, the reason you said that is because you seeing women being misandrous in the comment section. That's really why you said that. But what you're doing right now is they're going to think, oh, you're defending and protecting Moses. Once again, they're going to start to either, mess with you still or they're not. The ones that don't are the ones that don't want to have a good faith conversation or argument. They want to be mad at men and they like to remain in that gender war, right? But at the end of the day, all of these things that we're seeing are going to make men pick a side. There's not going to be any more gray area shit going on. You're not going to be able to have a gray area. Well, I don't want to be, it's getting rid of what we call the Sigma male, that one right there in the middle between alpha and beta. You're going to have to become one of two types of men, essentially. You're going to be the weak man that feels as though women should just be adored and adorned for being women, or you're going to be an assertive man that expects something out of women that they need to bring to the table in good faith in order for us to have functioning relationships. In all actuality, like I said, you remember when I told you I came on this app, my job, I wasn't coming here to bring people together. I was coming here to break people apart. Division is the key. And the reason we need division is because we keep acting as though we can get better as a collective if we simply bring everybody that's black together, regardless of the principles and things and the ideologies we believe in. I believe one of the most detrimental statements to the black, I'm not even gonna call it a community, the black population, the black collective, is let's agree to disagree. Nothing ever gets fixed that way. If you believe in Buddha and I believe in God, us agreeing to disagree means us separating from one another, because those are two conflicting ideals. And what we're seeing happen right now is you're seeing men say, "Nah, we're not going to agree to disagree on that. If you can't function with that logic that I just put out there, then we're gonna have to stop messing with you." And that's what we're seeing. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing that men are waking up to female nature. I think it's a great thing. Not just and we needed men at the forefront to have these voices in order for that to happen. That's what we needed.
Appreciate it, Moses.